So we first of all start off with using our spot remover healing brush to remove the wrinkles on our subject's face, right? After you must have selected that, you go to identify where you have the obvious blemishes, wrinkles and pimples and all of those, and try to remove them. Okay, this might take a little time, but for the purpose of our class, you can find that as a shortcut when you press J on your keyboard and you take your time to just drag through and make sure you've gotten what you want. You duplicate your layer now, and we go to camera roll to make a few adjustments. I already had a preset I built, and I'm using that preset for the purpose of this class. I've made the necessary adjustments, brightening, lightening, and all of those. So I'm trying to resize it to the Instagram size of 4x5.
So having resized the Instagram size, I then had to fill in the edges. I had to cover the black areas by sampling with my mask tool. I did content aware fill to fill in those edges, right? So as to get what I want. Having done that, I then went further to my patch tool. I merged the layer and went to my patch tool so as to sample and also remove the edge and that particular area and that stuff you'll find in there. So here we are with our distance. The next thing I had to do was to apply my frequency separation. If you're geared to know how to create frequency separation and all of those, I have a video on that. I would love you to please go check it out, where I explained how to create frequency separation for an 8-bit image and also a 16-bit image likewise. So frequency basically is separating your high frequency from your low frequency. Your high frequency has to deal with the areas that contains blemishes, spots, right? While your low frequency particularly deals with color, skin tone and what have you. So if you have areas where you find more spots, pimples and all of those, you remove them from your high frequency. So you're trying to remove what is not supposed to be there. So having applied our frequency now, we then go to our brush. I already have default settings for my retouching. You can see 30 30 30 there at the tools I'm actually using, and the tool I'm actually using is the brush, the mixer brush, to actually brushing the face in accordance. You can see yes, now really an image is usually made up of 3 elements, right? You have your highlight, you have your shadows, and you have your midtone. So highlight is usually the areas where you have more of the lightening. Midtones falls in between the dark area, while the shadow is the dark area, right? Now I'm done and brushing her face. I'm going to her outfit, trying to make it look a little more smooth, removing the rough edges here and there. So having done that, right, for the purpose of this class, I am really kind of fast, but if you want me to explain it extensively for you, you can do well to drop a message at the comment section. When I was done with that, I then merged. I'm now looking for a way to differentiate my subject from the background, right? So I went to my quick selection to then went to select subject, for which my computer automatically did. Then at this point I would have to cut out my subject from the background. So I fed out to 2. After I was done, I did Control or Command Shift J to do layer veer cut, right? And having done that, I then duplicated the subject because I want to create a shadow like effect. I want to create a shadow in this image. So having done that, I went to my color overlay and I selected black. After selecting black, I did the necessary adjustment there is I want, and when I was done, I had to bring it back. Right, I drew the under the layer option, I drew the shadow I created behind the subject, and after I was done with that, I had to do some few adjustments by reducing the opacity. After reducing the opacity, I went further to make a few adjustments here and there so as to make this shadow look as real as possible. It doesn't have any altercations and what have you. So after I was done with that, I went to filter, and then I went to Gaussian blur to blur it up a little to make it have that realistic feel. And this is me now trying to create a shadow for the purpose of this class. It's not really much of a big deal, but the image I really wanted to have a shadow like effect, and then there'll be a glowing light, more like a glowing light that is concentrated on our face, while the other areas is going to be dark. So after I was done with that, I went to my mask with tool and I selected ecliptical mask with tool, because I'm trying to get an oval kind of color lightening, right, which is concentrated on her face, from her face down to her shoulders and the rest. So after I was done with that, I went to solid color and I selected black. After I was done selecting black from my solid color, then you can see there I inverted. After selecting ecliptical tool, went to solid color, selected black. After I was done selecting black, I had to reduce the opacity a little. After I was done reducing the opacity, I had to I made the necessary adjustments up to the point I felt I had what I wanted. So I then went to feather. You double click on the icon of where you find the more like a black symbol like stuff, and that feather thing comes up. I apply the feather so as to make the edges not to be sharp. And after I was done with that, right, I had to take my time to make sure I did all the necessary adjustment there is so as to get a perfect touch of what I want. So the idea behind this picture really was for me to create a shadow, a lightening effect, and also apply my frequency separation. So at this point now, I'm trying to highlight the subject alone. So particularly I'm highlighting the face and the hand. You know, originally her clothes was dark, but when I applied my camera raw and did a few adjustments, it altered the color in her clothes. So I'm trying to use level right now to bring back the dark shade that she had on her clothes and also on her hair. On the norms, it's supposed to be dark. Her clothes is black and her hair is also dark, so I did that to bring back that effect. And right now, this is how our image is looking. We started off with first of all removing blemishes, and then we went on to applying our frequency separation. And after we were done applying our frequency separation, right, we went further to create shadow. After shadow, we went further to create our lightning. And right now we are actually creating our color grading for this image. So like I told you, if you can remember, an image is made up of 3 components or elements: highlights, shadows, and midtone. So that's what we did there. And if you're geared to also or you find it hard understanding how to apply color grading on your image, I have a video on that. Do well to go check it out. And so for this, you can see the gradient is made up of 3 elements. Your right, your at the left hand side is where you find your midtone. At the right hand side is where you find your highlights and what have you. So after I was done with that, right now I did a few adjustments here and there, and made sure that what I got was cool. This is how I actually achieved this retouching image. Please, if you find this necessary, I would love you to please subscribe to my channel, so as to give YouTube that reason to actually share this video. And if you have any question, please, you can drop it at the comment section. The video